Good afternoon. Welcome into Oven Tone Word part number 14. And on today's show, we're getting away from my favorite subject of the New Hampshire legislature, because they're into their recess at this point. And starting with today's program, we're going to be pivoting to showcase some of our like-minded allies and community partners. On this afternoon's show, I've got Sarah Georgian, community organizer from Able, New Hampshire, and we're going to be delving into what is Able, New Hampshire, and also talking about a rather large event you'll have coming up next month.
Yeah.
So, quick bit of background here. I'm host and co-producer Ian Hounds. This is the 14th show we've had overall in the series, and 13th for the year. And Sarah is the community organizer with Able, New Hampshire, also the third member of their team to join our program. And quick bit of background, Sarah joined Dr. Lewis Espeto and I at a community outreach event in late March in Concord.
Yeah.
So with that, Sarah, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself here?
So it's funny enough, the same way I actually got into Able is actually kind of like a lot of the same reasons why Able actually was started in the first place. Mm-hmm. So I actually met Lewis when I was in the leadership series at UNH. An amazing program that they have there, and I learned a lot about myself and my own disability. I do encourage people to take the time to actually really participate in that into the leadership series, because it literally changed my life, and it actually brought me into Able. Mm-hmm. So at that rally that that we actually met to was one of our class projects. So we were talking. My team was on child education, and so we had planned to join Able and Moms Rising when it came to the rally that they were going to have at the State House for a special for, I believe it was called Stop Special, at Stop Special rally, I believe. Mm-hmm. And it was amazing, and we were there. Everyone was there, just talking about like the importance of equal education and the importance of having a true education for kids with disabilities. And they asked me to lead the charge into the State House, and I was like, okay, yeah, why not? Sounds like fun. And from there, that's how I literally met Lewis and how I fell into Able, which was a great way to start my year.
Yeah, that sounds very impressive. And how did Able, New Hampshire actually get started, if you happen to know?
Yeah, so from what I learned, Able, New Hampshire, so I've only been with Able for a year, so I'm still learning a lot about Able, but mm-hmm. From what I learned, it was parents and like-minded people that came out of the UNH leadership series who wanted to continue the work that they were doing in leadership. If anyone knows about anything about UNH leadership, it is a program where people with disabilities of all kinds and all sorts are able to come together and really create a community that is rooted in just understanding, rooted in education of not only of our own disabilities, but of others, understanding each other's stories, and really really learning how to go out in the community, educate people, and also stand up and use our own activism to change policies. And so that's how it formed, and that's how we got Able New Hampshire today.
Yeah, and I'll just make a quick side note, given that we're just off the back of the Special Olympics New Hampshire Summer Games this
Yeah.
last weekend, as a matter of fact. And I've had the privilege of attending it as a spectator 2 years in a row now. And it goes beyond just what the other Sarah and company are doing with the leadership. It's all the way through their community, all the way through the campus.
Oh yeah, and
Up
most
there.
definitely. And most
Everybody
definitely.
very welcoming and
Oh yeah, I have.
very definitely a great thing to say.
Oh yeah, I have never. I've lived in New Hampshire my whole life. I have a disability called dyslexia, so it's a learning disability. And growing up with two immigrant parents, we don't have a word in our languages for our learning disability.
Sure.
We don't have a word for really a disability. And if we do have a word, it is not the most positive word. And a lot of people in my community that is disabled, we get shunned away. So like growing up here and having two parents who are immigrants and them also not knowing how to navigate the disability system, a lot of the times I've felt very alone, very misunderstood or not understood at all. But it wasn't until I've been in ABLE, it wasn't until I was part of ABLE for me to actually feel like I'm being seen, I'm being heard, that like the things that I've gone through, the things that I'm still going through with a disability, and the challenges that I face every day, like I'm with a group of people who understand and also at the same time help me and teach me how to overcome all these obstacles. So like I 1000% agree when it comes to it is the most warm, welcoming, most sweet and honest and just amazing group of people when it comes to that disability community, especially here in New Hampshire.
Oh, for sure.
We have a wonderful, wonderful community.
And that's one thing that struck me just over the last year at this point, having stepped into the spotlight myself. It's not just in the people that I've met, but the fact that we have quite a lot in common.
Yeah.
And that those that I have spoken with, some of which have joined me on the show, we're all in agreement with what the direction ought to be. Yet we also see that there's a lot of work to be done too.
Yes, and most definitely.
Case in point, the most recent legislative session of 9, I believe I said on a previous program, 9 separate bills, 7 of which were voted upon, 3 of which passed. The only 2 that I consider were relative wins were ones that merely Band-Aid a bigger problem, Band-Aid an existing problem.
Yeah, most definitely.
And to that end, we've got work to do still.
Oh yeah, and that's why I truly am very proud to be part of this ABLE team because.
And I think this may touch on my next question of what you all actually do.
Yeah, no,
as a
it
matter
really
of fact.
does. Because that's why I'm really proud to be part of this ABLE team because I do see the work that has to be done, and I do see the members who are not scared to do the work. Like when it comes to ABLE, what we do, how I explain it is that we give people a safe space to use their voice and to use their voice to fight for not only themselves, but for everyone in our community. ABLE is a place where as a member, you can come in when it comes to, and you can join different task force that we have. And you will start and hit the ground running that same day that you are in a meeting. So as soon as you join as a member, we are let me backtrack. We are a advocacy disability organization. So we believe that everyone has the right to advocate for not only from themselves but for other people, and also learn how to advocate as well. So at ABLE, we just give people the space and the tools to do that. One of my favorite groups really is like the housing and also the ACT group. I love our rainbow group. Like, it's just an amazing place where people can come. They see that there's a problem here in their hometown, or whether it's their hometown or in Manchester period, and or New Hampshire period, and they really take the time to, like, okay, and take the time and say, this is what's wrong. Let's educate people.
Oh, for sure.
Like, it is truly, utterly amazing to see. And when you're seeing it, it's not. It is our members that are creating these tasks. Like, it is our members that are creating these trainings. It is our members that are creating these lunch and learns. It is our members that are literally creating the change that we want to see, because they want to see it. It's our members that are up at the State House that are talking, and it's our members that are in their local level discussing about transportation and discussing how things are not okay within where they live, because accessibility is an important thing. It is our members that are literally in the forefront of all of it, and it's such a great thing to see.
And certainly drawing attention to a lot of the issues that have been brought to light. And of course, I'll make only one mention of it during today's program, because it's not what I was intending on, but certainly when the whole Nashwood School District discussion came up in the spring, that got a lot of attention from not just in the city, but around the state within our community. And good reason, too.
Yes, it most definitely. That right there is a proud moment. And I could definitely say that's a proud moment, not only for ABLE, but I think it should be a proud moment for everyone in the disability community, period. You see at work people coming together and standing up for what is right. That right there is powerful.
And goodness knows I did my share of phone calls around it.
Of course.
Reaching out to allies and champions, Shauna Hallberg from the Dover area, now I suppose former state representative Howard, and many others.
Oh yeah, it is. It is a whole thing that as members that they do, whether it's calling, emailing, sending out letters, showing up. It is
getting others to understand what's going on too.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And not even just like they are educating, but they are bringing people along with them. So it's not just one person that is standing there. It is one person and their friend and their friend and their friend. Like, it is, and their family member. Like, it is a whole community that literally shows up, and it's really great to see, because you won't see just one.
Oh, for sure. Okay, so now we get to the lighter-hearted portion of the discussion, and what inspired the Disability Pride Parade and Festival that y'all are having next month?
I can't say what inspired it at the beginning, because unfortunately I was not there, but if I had to guess, it would have to be, it would honestly, it would have to just be the people in our community. Like, I love when we have parades in Manchester. I love when I live really, really close to Elm Street, so I could always see the parades from literally like from my bedroom window. And it's always amazing to see like the community, like just Manchester coming out and just there enjoying a parade. And honestly, when it came, like what I have already witnessed and seen with the Disability Pride Parade, it is the same feeling. Like, it is amazing to see people of all walks of life coming to Concord and showing how proud they are, because we are more than just our disabilities.
For sure.
Like, that's like one small part of us that the world just sees and kind of makes it bigger. But when you are in that space and you are walking with with everyone, it is such an amazing thing to feel and to even witness. So honestly, I would definitely have to say, my answer would have to say, like, what inspired the parade is definitely the people in the community. It's definitely the people who came out of leadership. It's definitely the people who are literally who are fighting for disability rights every single day. It is a way for us to say, hey, we are here. We are more than our disabilities. We are seen, and we are proud to be who we are.
Oh, very definitely. And to touch on a point that I had raised back at the top of the program, that's part of what inspired me to not just come out to an event like that on July the 18th. It's what inspired me to go show my support for our town's Special Olympics program, not just last year, but also again over this last weekend at Durham, to know that, yes, as I've admitted on previous programs, I am like many of them, but in equal part, I also have their back. And I think with having a platform like this, it's important to practice what I'm preaching in front of this camera.
Oh, no, most definitely. It is. It's truly important, just as a community, that we are standing together and we are showing our support. Regardless if you have a family member or if you have a disability yourself, it is truly important that we all come together to support each other. It is truly important for everyone to truly support the disability community, because we are part of every type of community, whether people like it or not. We are everywhere. We are.
Oh, for sure.
We come in different shapes, sizes. We come in different races. We come in different forms, and regardless of why we look like each other or we don't look like each other, it is important for us to stand up and show up. Showing that support, it only strengthens the community, but also strengthens the outside community. It strengthens our town. It strengthens our cities. It strengthens our country when we do show up. For each other. And
so, as we look ahead to this year's event in a couple weeks, what goal, objective do y'all have? What do you want the takeaway to be from it?
Oh, I have a few. So mine,
Sure.
Personally for me, my objective, me just being there, one is for fun. I feel like, especially with like everything that's been going on in our world, we deserve some fun. We deserve some laughter. We deserve to let our hair down and just enjoy each other's company. I hope that everyone also takes a lot more education along with them, different ways to get involved. I hope that they find different, we have a whole bunch of different organizations that are going to be tabling there as well. So I hope that everyone is able to literally go to each table, get information about things that are around us. I'm hoping that people really get involved, more people get involved in what's going on, whether it's something that's in their in their hometown or it's much bigger. I'm hoping that everyone, when it comes to just the march itself, I really do hope that everyone has this sense of pride, and I really hope that everyone feels seen and feels heard and just has a great day. That is honestly my goal.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. It's always great to mix a little education but with some fun, that's what makes education more exciting, is when you can mix it with some fun.
Yeah, and I know we were talking a little bit before we started rolling the cameras this afternoon, and part of one of the things that motivates me and prompted me to step into the spotlight myself is it's not just been about me. Yeah, so I was diagnosed on the autism spectrum in 2011, as I've said in a couple of these programs. It's not just about me, it never was. It was also equal parts about some of my best friends from high school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are either very much like me or more so in a needier sense.
Yeah.
I'm doing it for them as well. Because something we've realized over the last 12, 18 months has been, okay, we're all in the same boat, but of our little group, I'm one of the more articulate ones. So it made sense for me to take up the mantle.
But it also, I hope you also know like what an example you are setting.
Mm-hmm.
Not like an example not only for like the disability community, but like for everyone, because doing this is difficult. Like,
oh, for sure.
not to like
Some of the subject areas are
yeah,
not lighthearted.
Exactly.
Let's put it that way.
This whole thing is difficult for anyone to be like, I'm gonna go on a TV show today. Like, people are gonna be like, that's nerve-wracking all in itself. But then like to have
mm-hmm.
the guts to literally say, I'm going to have a TV show in my hometown talking about disabilities, highlighting not only the parts that we need to get right when it comes to disability, but also highlighting like the goodness of disability as well. Like it takes a strong person to do something like this. And
for sure.
And then for you, with your own disability at the same time, how many people in our community are being like, wow, like if he can do it, I can do it too.
Mm-hmm.
Like you are setting an example. You are creating a pathway for people who are in our community to be like, we can do more. Let's do more. We can do a lot more than what society says that we can do.
Oh, for sure.
That's because and the way to show it, I can click on my TV right now and I can pull it up. I can pull up your YouTube links. I can pull it up, and that right there is showing.
Oh yeah, we are on YouTube,
yeah.
and I'll touch upon that a little bit later in the program.
Yeah, and that just shows. It shows right there. There truly is no boundaries for a person with disabilities. It literally is how the world allows us to access.
And I guess in a way, we said all that to segue into the next question of what do we believe is going to make the difference having this event in the current environment we're in an environment where the federal government seems to have a problem with people with disabilities, quite frankly, and we hear it every day, every other day, every week.
It shows them that we're not going to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is so easy to give up, but it shows them, even with this event, even with everything that ABLE does, period, with our members and just as staff members, it shows lawmakers we're not going to stop and we're not going to take it easy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we are not going to allow people to constantly and currently bring us down.
Oh, for sure.
And with that, we stand up every day. And with that, even with this event, yes, it is an event that is rooted in like education and rooted in being seen, but it also is a symbol like we are here. Mm-hmm. We will continue to be here. We will continue to have our event here. We will continue to be represented here in the State House, whether you like it or not, and whether you listen or not. One day, you are going to listen, and one day things will change, and we will be here to see it.
And that's just it. And like we were talking about before we got started this afternoon, into what inspired this program. Okay, yeah, I made 2 speeches in Concord last year about the subject, but it occurred to me that I needed to have a platform to reach more than just the people that go to those events. Mm-hmm. and get people to understand what is really going on, because I feel like if you take the National Registry, and we'll come full circle on that here in a minute, with the National Autism Registry last spring, when it was proposed, that was one thing you weren't hearing. What were the ramifications going to be?
Yeah.
What was the risk behind it? And in those speeches, that's what I attempted to address, both in the potential real-time risk and also acknowledging that those ignorant of history are at risk of repeating it, if I may be so polite here.
Yeah, no, I had a chance. So with the UNH Leadership Series, they do towards the end, you're able to like take a tour of the of the State House, and you're able to like talk to legislators. One of them that I was able to talk to, he he was talking about the Autism Council and all this stuff, and how like he really he's really learning more about the disability community, because now he is having to take care of his family member who also has a disability, and their parents can't take care of them anymore. And so like he was really wanting to listen. So I took the opportunity, and I was talking, and we were talking, exchanging things back and forth. And one of the things that I told him, like one of the things that kind of got like that light bulb to switch, was asking the question, well, did you ever ask her what she wanted?
And not just talking with you, but other like-minded allies in our community that I've had the opportunity to meet and work with here. That's one question that we've tried to get people to take away from the conversation. Is if you truly want to help us, if you truly want to not just be an ally, but make this state, town, country better for all of us, actually talk to us and ask us,
what do we want?
What do we need?
Yeah.
What are we lacking?
How can we help? How can we make this better? What are we doing that we're not seeing?
Exactly.
And that right there is when that's like when I asked him, like the light bulb went off. He now like took a minute to sit back and was like, you're right. No, I don't think any of us have ever asked. And I told him, and I get it. When you have a family member who has lived with a disability their whole life, sometimes as family, we are so concerned about how everything else is going to fall in their life. We are so concerned about like, what if they get sick, or what if we can't, what if our parents can't take care of them? What's going to happen next? What if what happens when they want to get married? What happens if they're gonna age out and go into an adult program? What's going to happen? How do we? But one of the things that we, as family, that we tend to forget is asking what they want. Do they want to be married? Do they want to have a relationship? Do they want to have a job? Do they want to learn how to use public transportation so it's easier for them? Do they want independence?
Sure.
We have, sometimes as family members, we get so caught up in the concerns that we forget that they are human and that they have a beautiful life to live. And we don't realize that we are stifling that life sometimes.
Yeah,
So-
and that's fair. I mean, granted, I take a bigger picture view of it when I'm talking with the aforementioned friend of mine from high school, for example, and deep down, fundamentally speaking, particularly in the environment we're in right now, it could be anywhere from just hearing them out while they're venting about something to reminding them that, honestly, they're not alone right now. And I feel that's
and that's
one
why
of the big reasons that I started doing this in the first place,
I would encourage
is to serve as a reminder to our community that we're not alone.
No,
We have each other, and that's
I would
something quite extraordinary, I dare say.
I would encourage I would encourage everyone, whether you're a public figure or not, whether you're a politician or not, whether you're a teacher, a bus driver, if you're just you work at the mom and pop shops, if you ask what they want. Mm-hmm. You want to know more. You want to know how to ask them, because it is a very simple question, and anyone in our disability community will literally give you the answer what they're looking for.
Oh, for sure.
They're not gonna tell you no lie. They're gonna tell you what they want, and it is up to us as a community whole. It's up to us as a community as a whole for us to listen to each other, understand that we are part of this community, this human community. Mm-hmm. We are part of this New Hampshire community. We are part of this great state, and our voices do count. So if you want to know what we think about certain laws, ask. If you want to know how we think about living conditions and accessibility within each town we have here in New Hampshire, ask.
And depending on which corner of the state,
it's going to be a long answer.
It very much varies.
Yeah, it's going to be quite an answer on that one.
Town.
Oh yeah.
I certainly do hand it to your hometown of Manchester, what I'm seeing with Nashua and what I'm seeing up through Concord in terms of accessibility of certain places, a lot of places. They have done a lot of work. Say what you will about it.
I can definitely say right now, even in Manchester, there's this lovely lady who shows up to the alderman meetings every week, mm-hmm. and she tells her story about how it is so hard and the accessibility within our city, and how even for herself, where she needs to go to the YMCA and she needs to do her swim classes because it helps with her physical therapy. Mm-hmm. Like, just that alone, the way her determination, and not only her determination for herself, but to bring other people within this, talking about how parking is inaccessible, our sidewalks are inaccessible, bringing these issues to the forefront in real time, not only for our aldermen to hear, but now we have people in our community who are hearing this. Mm-hmm. And when they hear her story and when they hear about what's going on, they're just like, okay, this is a real problem, because this truly can be any of us.
All right, so before we continue, before I make the sin of omission here, Able New Hampshire 2026 Disability Pride Parade and Festival is going to be at the State House in Concord, mm-hmm. on Saturday, July the 18th. The festival portion will be from 10 in the morning to 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and the parade will be at 11. Again, I'll yield to you, Sarah, if you want to throw anything else in here on details.
No.
Or
I honestly, just come have fun with us. Come hear what we have lined up. We have some speeches lined up from some of our young leaders within our communities. We have, like I said, different organizations that will be tabling there as well. Mm-hmm. So lots of information for the community to take home with. It is definitely going to be a great day. It is going to be a fun and high energy type of day. So come with all the fun, come how you are, come excited, come with signs, come with flags, come with it all.
And I feel like an event like this, and part of the reason I also went up to Durham last weekend, an event like this, it's not only about the fun, it's also about the friendships that we make along the way. It's about that community element, like you've talked about.
Oh yeah. That's exactly why I love the community that I have been blessed to be a part of, mm-hmm. And get to know. Like these people are some of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. they have lifted me up in times of self-doubt, and they have definitely corrected me in ways where I can only get better. So,
Oh, and to that purpose, and you bring it up, I've learned quite a bit too. And, having done 14 of these shows, and that being said, I've had the privilege of working with a who's who of our like-minded allies and community, including Kristen Evans, who's the policy director at ABLE. We got talking about the legislative process back in February of this year. A good friend of ours and the fearless leader of the group, Dr. Louis Espeto, and he's reminded me on more than one occasion. He and I have had an opportunity to do 2 of these programs together. One in January, previewing the legislative session, and we were joined by fellow Manchester native Lily Foss, as a matter of fact, on that afternoon. And then in March, right around the time we were together for that outreach event, Louis and I had an opportunity to actually explain to people what the Autism Council actually does, what they actually are, because that was an underlying theme all the way through the legislative session. And that was actually the first guest that I've had on for a second time, and I told him that day, which already that's kind of surreal in itself. And then one of my bigger surprises has been being able to actually sit in on an advocacy meeting with Louis, Shauna Hallberg, Chase Eagleson over at Developmental Disabilities, and Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander, as a matter of fact. And not to make too much of a spoiler alert here, I will have an announcement about that fairly soon, because we're trying to get her on the program also. There's a better picture, an actual picture of Louis and I from part number 7 back in March. And then when Kristen joined the program in February, that's myself, Kristen, and
Heath Howard,
candidate for Congress, Heath Howard, as of Friday.
As of Friday,
I was actually up there and joined him and Sarah for that.
Oh, that's a proud moment.
And a full circle moment too, because Heath Howard's been one of the ones in our community that was, dare I say it, not really pushing me to speak up, but nudging me along when I was soul searching last spring about it. He was one of the ones that realized that, 1, he and I were not that different, but 2, we needed that additional voice at the table. We needed that additional person to step into the spotlight and not just acknowledge who they are, but acknowledge why it matters.
No, he has become a good friend ever since I have stepped into this new pathway of my life and disability. So
for sure.
He has been a huge confidant, and he has been a good friend, really.
And I will even confess that I have not just sought counsel from Alejandro, my co-producer, who I mentioned at the top, but also our good friend Louis as well, on many occasions. Even former State Representative Howard, too. I've sought counsel from him on multiple occasions also, not just about state legislative stuff, but getting his sense on the national discussion also when it's come up. Hey, there we go. there's myself, Lewis, and your fellow Manchester Stateswoman, Representative Foss. And that was the first time Lewis and I were on the program together. And little did I know that it was going to turn into a whole storyline thread for the program where, yeah, we talked about the beginning of the legislative session on that program. But then it's been an underlying theme from January all the way till a couple of weeks ago when the session wrapped up. Which kind of brings us to why we're here today.
Yeah, like it's
beginning to pivot focus on some of the groups and organizations that are doing very valuable work behind the scenes, I dare say. So, a couple of housekeeping things as we close out today's show. There has been a final update in regard to House Bill 751, and it is actually good news, which we'll touch on here in a moment. Check out the socials and social media and YouTube. We'll touch upon that here in a moment also. First, we'll go with the legislative update one more time, I swear. On June 4th, the New Hampshire Senate voted by voice vote to table the second open enrollment bill of the session, which I consider that to be a win. However, as I've said in the last couple of programs, with the amount of times they were using a voice vote, where is the actual accountability? Because something I've learned in putting these programs together, when they're voice voting on it, you don't actually get to see how State Senator Carson voted on something.
Exactly.
Any of the 8 state representatives that represent us here in Hudson, you don't see how they actually vote.
Max.
The lack of accountability I consider to be the problem.
No, I agree. Definitely should.
Overall, good news. So, yay for that.
Yeah. No, so besides working for ABLE as a community organizer, I'm also a school board member in Manchester for Ward 3, and open enrollment has been an ugly monster to definitely fight.
Oh, for sure.
It's ugly monster to fight, and honestly, I would love not to hear anything about open enrollment for the next 2 years.
I don't know if we're going to be that lucky or not, but
I know. I can always hope and pray.
I will echo the sentiment that here's hoping we don't have to hear the word again for at least the next cycle anyhow.
That's true.
Let's be realistic. That being said, we do have a more serious note that I'd be remiss not to bring up on the program, since it's kind of the cornerstone of why that started in the first place. Back on June the 4th, it was brought to everyone's attention, both in articles in USA Today and CNN and others, that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and the United States Department of Health and Human Services are attempting to access our medical records once again to find a cause for autism and to cure it. It is things like this is exactly why we've still got to be vigilant.
Yes.
It is things like this that I still find quite problematic as to what we're still fighting, what we're still up against. And honestly, if I might be so bold, it is time for them to get some new material.
I
Good
agree.
Lord.
I agree.
So, not to bring things down too much, but after I learned of this, I felt it would be irresponsible not to touch upon it.
I feel the same. Honestly, I feel like as our American tax dollars can go towards something way better than than trying to quote unquote find a cure for something that
And
as human, like, it is not our
yeah, you don't necessarily need to
It's not
find
ours.
you don't necessarily need to find the word terror. I have, and Lou is well known, I have been over it very thoroughly at this point.
No, we could be doing so much more, and we need to be doing so much more, because this, I'm sorry, but this is a waste of our money. That's a waste of our resources. That's a waste of everything. What we can be doing, that money could be going towards resources, and could be going towards our education, that could be helping and making sure that our kids who are on the autism spectrum, whether they're verbal or nonverbal, they're getting the important therapies that they need within school, one-on-one. They're getting all the things like they can get, so that they are so that we are setting them up to be independent humans.
Oh, for sure. And while all of that is certainly quite important, it's not just the tangible side of it.
Yeah.
It's not just the tangible side of the discussion. Are they getting what they need? It also
Is the ideology around it too.
It's the ideology behind it, for sure. And it also takes a toll on those who are on the spectrum, within the demographic.
Yeah.
And although I keep stopping shy of saying specifically who, some of my best friends are very much like me in that regard. They aren't as insightful, they aren't quite as philosophical as I am when they hear stuff like this. Hearing stuff like this legitimately scares them, and with good reason.
Yeah, because I have one of my persons who's near and dear to my heart is my godson, and he is autistic, nonverbal. Jordan is the smartest kid I have
for sure.
ever met, and I have worked with many kids within in Manchester. I have a mentoring program. I have worked with so many kids of all ages. Jordan is one of the smartest kids, and it sounds a little bit like I'm being biased, but no, he is truly and utterly one of the smartest kids I have ever just observed and met and got to know. This, like, as a kid, I'm watching. When I watch Jordan, just him being him, happy as a clam, just being his own 10-year-old self, the way that I see how he solves his own problems, the way that I see him communicate with other people, the way that I literally see this young boy, regardless if he can speak or not, he is the most communicative, most demanding, most bossy kid I have ever met in my life. And I don't understand why anyone would want to change that, because the way that he for example, my sister, when she moved into a new home, the way that he would observe everything, the way that he is planning out, I call him my little jailbreaker, because the way that he's over here observing his all the exits in the house, he is observing everybody to see who's watching, the way that he is, doing his little things to make sure that, I'm not being seen, but I'm still in your eye vision, but I know I'm not being seen. And as soon as that man gets a plan in his head, you try to stop that boy, hilarious. What? No, he is so sweet, so kind, but so smart. And a part that I do hate about what goes on is that even though he could be the smartest kid in the world, it will always be overshadowed to the fact that he's autistic. And that right there pains me.
That's problematic in it. That is problematic in itself.
Because that boy is smart and he knows how to get what he wants.
Because, and it's both refreshing and funny, but not funny that you bring this up. Sarah Trzynski, another good friend of mine for doing the show, her and I sat down for roughly an hour
I love her.
back in March, and we touched on that. We spent goodness, it had to have been a good 20 or 30 minutes musing upon that exact fact. That those on the spectrum, okay, yes, they're on the spectrum.
What?
But so what? It also means that they bring something unique to the table, each in their own way.
I mean,
And-
our greatest mind in history. Our greatest mind in history.
I was today years old when I found out it was not just him. It's there's a couple of others, including
I mean,
very well-known
he could,
United States gymnast Simone Biles.
Yep. I mean, Albert Einstein.
The very same.
He couldn't read past elementary school level. That man could not read for the lick of him, and yet he is known as the greatest mind in history.
Oh, for sure.
He also, if I believe.
If in doubt,
Yeah,
if
but-
in doubt, we can fact check
I
and I'll
was like,
correct it later.
I believe, like,
But go
there was
ahead.
another, like, there was like another, I forget where it was, but there was like this, I forgot where, I think it was like a study, but like even when like with him, like they even, as he was getting older, like tried to also determine like what kind of disabilities he had, because yes, we knew that he had a learning disability, but even at that time they called it, like they didn't really call it a learning disability, but just the fact that he couldn't read, he was a little bit illiterate, and the fact that he also was, I believe, autistic as well, but was not giving the full scope. But it's just the fact that we have like this man who has these disabilities, but in history is known as the greatest mind.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
And
just saying. And no one was looking for a cure for him. Just saying.
exactly.
No one was looking for a cure for him. I'm
And-
just saying.
And as I've touched on a couple of times just today alone, two of my best friends from high school, very similar to myself. Okay, a little, they're not quite as eloquent as I am. Sure. But that also, it makes
Doesn't make them feel great.
it scares them and it makes my blood boil, quite honestly.
And no one should ever live in this
see-
world scared.
To see things like this coming back up yet again.
Yeah, I agree. Because no one should ever feel like they are, to me, when I hear a cure, like that, to me, makes it sound like they're a mistake. Or that
Eugenics.
like, yeah.
I was trying hard
Like-
not to go there, but
It makes it sound like
We gotta call it what it is here.
It makes it sound like they are that they are a mistake. That there is something wrong with them that must be fixed. That there is no place for them until they are fixed. It makes it sound like they are wrong in every human way form possible. It puts people in a dark and scary place
Oh,
where
definitely.
they should never have to be in. We are all different in many different ways.
and go ahead and those watching the program, go ahead and judge me for what I'm about to say, but I am unapologetic in the fact that particularly over the last year, I have gone to show my support for our town's Special Olympics program on now 4 separate occasions. And I'm not sorry.
No, honestly, the town should be rallying around that. The town should be making it and making
for
it
sure.
a big thing, because that is, I mean, we do it for our football teams, we do it for our high school teams. We should be doing the same exact thing when it comes to Special Olympics. It
We should
should be something that our whole town, our whole state rallies around.
Oh, for sure. Right here in Hudson, and both Mike, Director of Community Media, and Matt can attest to, we do a lot in terms of rallying around our school department and athletic programs, particularly at the high school level. That being said, my question to everyone in this audience is, why aren't we giving the Special Olympics programs in our towns that same
It's a
support?
missed opportunity as well,
That
because
same
it is a missed opportunity as well, because if
acknowledgement.
if we really get serious about it, the Special Olympics is a huge organization. It goes from local to regional to now national level. Okay, ESPN literally broadcasts the Special Olympics at a national level every year when it comes up.
And they are in Minnesota this very week coming up.
If we really thought about it seriously enough, and if we really knew how even the people in our disability community who are participating in Special Olympics, if we continued and rallied around them and continued our support and shown and literally helped them get to a national level, they are now representing us, New Hampshire.
Oh, for sure.
They are representing New Hampshire. Not only we have represented our state not only on a scholastic level with our kids. We have one of the biggest supermodels in the world at this moment. One of the biggest supermodels in the world at this moment comes out of New Hampshire.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes, one of the biggest supermodels at this very moment in our history is a young girl that came right out of the projects of literally Manchester, New Hampshire. Love her family, love her, but it's like we have so many greats that are coming out of New Hampshire. Our disability is great too. They could also be representing us in a much bigger scale and in a much national scale where we could all be literally just thriving.
And I mean, one, I absolutely agree with that. And two, and I'm addressing this to not just Cheryl, the director of the local program here in Hudson, but also to Mark Rogers, her state level counterpart. If y'all want to come on, the door is very much open. And I certainly would look forward to having offline conversations with each on how do we make that happen.
Yeah.
Because I don't know much about Manchester, I can only speak from my experience here in Hudson. We make a big deal out of everything that the Alvern High School Athletic Department does.
Yes, we do.
That's all well and good. Why aren't we giving Hudson Special Olympics the same kind of support, the same kind of invitation, the same kind of opportunity
And don't get me wrong,
to showcase their work?
Even in Manchester, we are even in our schools, they are doing a great job of doing the unified sports, and they are really they are truly and utterly trying. I can only speak for our school, but they're really trying to connect these the two groups. It is amazing to see the support from the students themselves.
Oh, for sure.
How they support their unified sports and how excited they get, what an honor it is for them, to really see their fellow classmates getting uplifted and being honored in a way where only truly basketball players get to really feel that.
For sure.
Get to feel they're the man,
Okay, I confess my bias. I am an alum of our high school athletic department here in Hudson, Alvern football, 2008.
Yeah.
But there was something about that, and it comes down to one word, and that's community.
Yeah.
It's a community upon itself, even all these years later.
What if kids in our middle school, in our elementary schools, in our high schools can literally see past other kids' disabilities and see that they are just a kid just like they are, just trying to figure it out. and be there for each other, as adults, what is stopping us from doing what kids can do?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Okay. And then we get into some of the final housekeeping things here. We're on the platform Blue Sky at ofhisownword.bluesky.social. We've got show announcements. Okay, maybe not so much this time of year, but reactions to our state legislature, and following reactions to some of the national discussion on autism as well, since that's still very much on the forefront, as we touched on a moment ago. And before I continue, I would also be remiss when I was talking about Hudson Special Olympics a moment ago, I would be very much remiss not to include the unified program over at Alvern as well in that regard.
Yes.
And would very much like to share that the invitation to both groups is very much open.
Yeah, come and show support. Just come and show support.
And then we're on Facebook at Of His Own Word in quotation marks. Again, much like Blue Sky, same overall scope, although we're trying, like I said at the top of the program today, trying to pivot from the legislative side to more of the groups behind the scenes, groups that are, for lack of a better term, in the trenches, educating and trying to share with people how best they can be inclusive. So that's kind of how we started with today's program, for example. And then we're on the Hudson Community TV website under keyword Of His Own Word, and that's primarily the 13, now 14 in-house shows that we've produced here. We're on Linktree, again under the Of His Own Word. We've got show links, social media links. Okay, showing my age here, but link to the email address if people are so inclined. I also like to throw in some Easter eggs, some bonus content, if that's what you want to call it. So, and as the temperatures have warmed up and we've been getting out on the road more and more, trying to include some, quote, on the road stuff as well, where I can squeak it in too. So I'll admit to it, I've got Heath Howard's speech from Rising Stars back in January here in Concord on the YouTube page.
Oh, that's awesome.
For one. We're on to, and I know this is kind of a popular one amongst those of us in the advocacy realm, but we're on Substack at Of His Own Words. Again, much the same update as the others, but it's in a longer form, and a lot of the reactions to what the state legislature has done over the session, what I've had to say on it and shared on there as well as during each show. And then we finally get over to the YouTube, Of His Own Word-NH, and we've got both the Hudson Community TV shows on there, some of our self-made best of segment, which I'll show y'all here in a minute. Then we get to the link for parts 1 through 7 are on the screen now through YouTube. And we've got part 1, which was the introduction last fall. Lewis's first appearance, the legislative session preview from January. Christian Evans, only appearance on the show in part number 3, overview of how the legislative process is supposed to work. And I preface it that way rather purposely because multiple times this session we saw them ignoring their very own process, to be polite about it. And then we get to story of how House Bill 1316, the Autism Data Privacy Bill, came about, and that was a very enlightening conversation I had with Shauna Hallberg, as a matter of fact, and what prompted it. And it was actually, for those who don't know or missed the program, that was prompted around what Governor Pritzker did in Illinois with Executive Order 2025-02, acknowledging that people with autism deserve the as many rights and the same rights as anyone else, including the right to data privacy in that case. Part number 5, when I did ended up having to pivot into a brief legislative update prior to crossover day. Part number 6, I had Sarah Trzynski in the studio, and that's the one that I was telling you about a little bit earlier, about just because someone has autism doesn't mean that they're any less extraordinary.
Yeah.
It actually means that they could very well be even more unique, I dare say. I appear to have bumped that. Part number 7, what the New Hampshire Autism Council actually is, or excuse me, Council on Autism Spectrum Disorders, if we're using the full name. But that was a very enlightening conversation with your colleague, Dr. Louis Espeto, as he's reminded me on a couple occasions. I still laugh about that, I admit. And then we've got some of the ones where I've just been kind of buying time a little bit here. Parts 8 and 9 actually circle back to what I told you at the beginning of the afternoon about some of the speeches I gave last year on the subject, and how it's how some of the misinformation, and misrepresentation is very problematic, and not enough people are understanding that. Not enough people grasp that what is being thrown about by certain portions of the current administration is actually quite alarming, because clearly they don't think through what they're actually saying and what it actually means.
Yeah, most definitely.
Then we go to part 10, which was a timeline look back on the show so far. 11 through 13, should have updated that. Oops. But 11 through 13 touched on the final couple of weeks of the legislative session and where things stood. Then we get into some of the more interesting montages, best of the self-made content, which Heath Howard spoke at the Rising Stars 2026 event at the McAuliffe Planetarium in Concord in January. I happened to be in-house for that. So
yeah, that was actually a great time.
Got to hear him speak there. Then for those who are of the binging mindset in terms of streaming, you got parts 1 through 6, 7 through 9, and then even a best of legislative reactions, which, and Lewis can tell you, I have not been shy about what I've had to say on that, good, bad, and different.
It's okay. I probably share some of the same sentiments.
Oh, I think we're all in agreement there. We had then some of our extended family, if that's what you want to call it. Alejandro Urita, my co-producer and good friend of the show, helped me get this project off and running. Then just as we rolled into 2026, we had State Representative Lily Foss and Dr. Louis Espeto in-house to talk about what the legislature was doing in regard to autism, which of course turned out they completely ignored anything common sense on that. And I said the quiet part out loud, not sorry. Then we went over the legislative process in part number 3 with State Representative Heath Howard and Kristen Evans. I had Shauna Hallberg in for part number 4, Sarah Trzynski in on part number 6. part number 7, anybody see a theme there? Dr. Lewis and Beto rejoined me for part number 7, and that's when we talked about the Autism Council and what they actually do, which a lot of it I didn't know until this year when it became a subject. And then we go behind the scenes. We've got Director of Community Media Mike Johnson, Matt Guerrero, one of the production coordinators, and counterpart Mike Pylon, one of the other production coordinators. Matt will appreciate this next little bit. Hi, Mike. Co-producers myself and Alejandro Urita. Then, to wrap this up, I've dusted this one off for the first time in a couple of shows, just to wrap up a little bit. After watching today's show, if y'all take nothing else away from it, couple of thoughts. One, the federal government seems to be very determined to misrepresent and misinform what the disability community actually is. They're very determined to misrepresent and misinform what the autism community actually is. I would ask the audience that if you have any doubts in your mind as to how you can help these two communities, and I know they're intertwined, yes, actually hear us out. Actually ask what we need. Actually ask us what our concerns are. And good grief, don't just assume that a one-size-fits-all fix is going to be applicable in all cases.
That is true.
And further, absolutely look back at Of His Own Words -NH, and I urge you to watch all of the other 13 shows, because in those, yes, we have story time. Yes, we have our share of laughs. But we also talk about some very serious subjects that are still very much at the forefront. And some of them are actually quite alarming. So, what's the old saying, the more you know? Sarah?
Yeah, I would just, one, make sure you come to the Disability Pride Parade in Concord, July 18th this year. I also urge everyone to truly get informed, get involved. Please do some research and go to your local legislatives. Go talk to your representatives, talk to your aldermen, and talk to your school board members. Take some time to truly and understand what is going on, not only in our country, but in our own backyard.
Oh, definitely.
And then I encourage you all to do something about it. I encourage you to become a ripple, and I encourage you to speak up. And I also encourage you to truly acclimate yourselves and get involved in your disability community, because we all need each other.
Oh, absolutely. I will wholeheartedly second that and fully acknowledge that I was practicing what I preached this last week, and not just in rallying behind friends of the show, Heath Howard and Sarah Jasinski, as they filed for their run for United States Congress in New Hampshire's 1st Congressional District. I also, in a disconnecting from the discourse for a day, if you will, went up to University of New Hampshire, Durham for the Special Olympic Summer Games this past Saturday, and spent much of a day with one of my very best friends from high school, her parents, and her younger brother.
No.
Just to just so they know that they have someone in their corner like that.
It's amazing.
And finally, I am very much in awe and appreciation of everybody who's watched this show and had something to weigh in on about it. And just the acknowledgement means a lot. And yes, we're in difficult times, but I'm convinced we can get through it together.
And most definitely.
So, again, finally, to finish off, stay tuned for an announcement about Part 15 in the upcoming week. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow us online. And although I can't say too much about it yet, Part 15, we've got something, if everything plays out well, we've got a big name coming up for the next one. So stay tuned for that. And once again, thanks for watching.